Today, I want you to join me on a little experiment. So, I work with handmade businesses, makers, small scale manufacturers, and my focus on these businesses is on the back end. I do operations, I do production planning, I do optimizations. What I don't do is marketing. However, when I talk to people about my own handmade business, a lot of times I will hear things about, well, how big was your email list? How big was your social media following? Because for a lot of makers, that's the most important part for them when they're looking to grow their business. So, what I decided to do is I decided that I'm going to take you on a 30-day journey with me where we are going to learn together about growing an audience for your handmade business. So, we're going to focus on Instagram and an email list. So, this is a brand that I had this business for about 10 years. And during COVID, I shut it down. And so, what I've done now is I have rebranded and relaunched this past year very, very quietly. There's been no real big, massive announcement, no real big, massive push for wholesale direct to website sales. But I do have a bit of an audience. But I like the reason, like, I like why this is a good challenge for my other makers to see because a lot of makers are in the same boat. They have a couple hundred followers, they maybe have a few people on their email list, so they have a little bit going on. But they don't know how to get past that little bit, right? It's easy to kind of get the first couple, but how do you get to your first thousand? How do you get to your first 5,000? I don't know. I'm not a social media expert. I'm not a marketing expert. I'm an operations. I'll tell you how to make your products. I'll tell you how to make them better, faster, cheaper, and easier. But I'm not going to be able to tell you how to market. But what I can do is I can bring you along with me as we learn how to market together. So today is March 15th. 2024, and starting today, we're doing 30 days of audience growth for Instagram and email. Now, I'm also sharing about this in my Facebook group. So, I'm going to be doing daily updates in my Facebook group, the Handmade Business Collective, where you can see what I'm posting every day, why I'm posting that, and the impact it has on my metrics. I will be posting a YouTube video every Friday. So, for the next 4 weeks, recapping overall what happened that week, the posts I made, the traction I saw, and anything I learned from doing this. So, to get started, I want to give you a baseline. Where am I starting from? And I'm going to show you my numbers. You're not just going to have to take my word for it. We're actually going to go look at my Instagram profile and my email list. So, let's go take a look. Let's see what my audience size actually is, and then we'll see what I'm doing to start building it for the first week. So to start out, here is my Instagram page. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that while I have changed the username, I actually have not changed my logo yet. I have not put the new branding in the logo. So I do need to update that. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to update my logo. I'm going to make sure that matches the new branding that I have, that everything's consistent. Now I do have, some old things from my stores of project bag reviews, but you'll see there's not a lot here. It's two images, right? One image. Now, the one thing I did want to do is I had been making very sporadic posts. So, for instance, a week ago, I posted about new bags in stock, and the next day, I posted about packing an order. Now, what I did though is after I made the decision last Friday on the 8th that I was going to do this 30-day challenge, I stopped posting. So, I have not posted in a week until today. This was my first post. I did an Ides of March post. I took Latin for 7 years. I took it at the collegiate level for 3. Roman history, Roman culture. The Latin language is very interesting to me. So this is a day that I really enjoy, even though it's more impacted by Shakespeare necessarily than the Romans. But so I created a little pun today about the Ides of March and a little thing about Julius Caesar. But that is my first post in a week. And this is the post that's going to kick off my 30 days. So today I didn't even focus on my product, my brand, or anything. I just made a pun. And the pun doesn't even relate to my audience, probably. It relates mostly to me. It's very personal. So right off the bat, probably not going to get a whole lot from that because who else cares about the Ides of March in the knitting world? I don't know. What I did do is I used a couple hashtags, Ides of March, Julius Caesar, knitting puns, knitting Instagram, knitters of Instagram, and A2 Brute. Again, probably not going to get a lot from that. But what I do want to show is that I do have 481 followers. That has been pretty consistent. I have not gained any since I made this post, but I also only made that post 30 minutes ago. So right off the bat, though, what I can see is if the 80 people that follow me on YouTube, if you see this video and you go follow me already, I'm skewing the results. So I am going to try and be a little bit careful about that. This is probably the only episode where I will actually show you my full brand and name and everything, because that's not my goal to artificially inflate that. My goal is to really try to just use organic strategies on Instagram to grow things. Now, the other thing we need to look at is the fact that I said my goal is to grow my Instagram and my email list. Well, there's no link to my email list. There's a link to my website and there's a pop-up for my email list, but there's no direct call to growing my email list. So challenge number 2, I'm probably going to have to do something to drive people to my email list with a really easy sign up. So we will need to update that. And the other thing I want to capture is, so in the 30 days before starting this challenge, I reached 217 accounts. So we are starting a new 30 days. So let's see how that number changes as we go through this daily challenge. So we are going to keep an eye on this number right here as well. So here is my email list. Now I have shrunk the screen down, so it's a little weird because in order to pull up the total number, it starts to list email addresses below this. And I do not want to be outing people's email addresses on the internet. That is bad news bears. But the important thing to see here is that at some point I have had 614 people subscribe to my email list at some point in time. Now, of those 614, though, only 240 are active profiles. These are people who are actively subscribed to my email list still. So you can see I had a huge drop, 374 that have left my email list through one way or another. Like I said, the brand went defunct back in 2020, 2021. So obviously you're going to have a lot of people kind of dropping off from that. But then when I do a relaunch, introduced a relaunch to my email list, I did announce a new brand. Well, in those 3 years, people's interests have changed. People's desires have changed. They might not have recognized the new brand name, even though I tried to do a good transition. So my email list has shrunk by over 50% of its highest number of subscribers. But what we're going to do here is my goal is to get this number of active profiles up. We want to double it. So I want to get it up close to 500 email subscribers by the end of these 30 days. Am I going to be able to pull that off? I don't know, right? Right now, I don't really have a big push for people to sign up for my email list. I don't know if they're actually going to show up to my website, then sign up for my email list. I'm going to have to create some strategies on my Instagram to drive people to sign up for my email list and then provide them some really awesome content. But that is the goal. We are going to double this and get this as close to 500 as we can. For my Instagram profile, again, we're going to look to try and double that. I am going to see how close we can get to 1,000 followers on Instagram over the next 30 days. It's going to be a combination of static posts, of reels, of stories on Instagram. I'm never going to do more than 2 things in a single day. So we've already done a static post. Later, I'm probably going to do a story, but that is going to be it for today. And I'm going to work on mapping out all of my content so that there's something going up every day, even if I'm not actively going to be on my phone, in front of my computer, taking pictures, or doing whatever. So I am really excited to have you follow along. Let me know what you think is going to happen with my email list and my Instagram profile over these next 30 days. Let me know what recommendations you have, or if you're going to play along with me. I would love to hear if you decide to do this experiment yourself as well and what your results are at the end of the 30 days.